Well, Amy, congratulations. You are the first. Sign of the Time shirt is up on the Dumb Show, at least for the guys. It'll be there for the ladies shortly. No Olivia tonight. We're running solo, which those usually make fairly decent shows. Topics tonight, talking about Porter and her comments in regards to pedophilia, LGBTQ community. Talking about Biden and his ice cream, and another topic. I don't know. See you in 3 minutes.
Hey, Hogswins here. Check out our friend Matthew Spirit at his podcast at The Dumb Show and his website. Yeah, don'tunfriendme.com. Yeah.
Hey, psycho chick. Yokel, what's her name? Jokel or some crap, whatever her name is. You've been invited to live. I mean, all you got to do is come on. Remember, you said I'm a stupid show, stupid person, a Nazi. Said I'm sexist. Said I have a small penis, which I don't know who's been talking, but I'll tell you what. That's why Olivia's not here tonight. I had some words. Made fun of my Jewish Holocaust fleeing grandmother. You said I have a lisp. Ridiculous. It's called a de-esser. Everyone knows that in radio, but that's all right, whatever. I said a lot of things. What you didn't say is that you're wrong or that you're willing to come on the show. And we know why. It's because you have to show yourself. That's why you don't have a picture. We know, yokel, Twitter. What a troll. Let's see if she shows up tonight, folks. We're almost done. 48 seconds. And if you want, we can hug and kiss and make up for the party ends. Agree or disagree, still unfriend me. Thanks for liking, Tommy. 'Cause I'm everything you want, damn sure what you need. I won't tell no lies, back up on the facts with truth. And if you can't get down with that, you must be somebody's stuff. Look at all these bots who don't watch my show. This is crazy. They're all mine. They're all my accounts. All my bots. Kevin, thank you for liking the stream. Folks, if you haven't liked it, do it. It gets all those bots to show up.
Adjusting transmitter output.
This is the Don't Unfriend Me Show with your hosts, Matt, Leroy, Amy, Olivia, and Mike. Geopolitics, military analysis, and election coverage. Coming to you live on the Spreely.tv network and all major social media channels at The Dumb Show. Honest, direct, unfiltered. We can agree, we can disagree. Just don't unfriend me.
Veterans Before Illegal shirt is here. I got all my new shirts today. I'm really excited. Very, very excited that my new shirts are here. Guaranteed. Paul, thanks for liking the stream. It's guaranteed to send a liberal into a spiral. Speaking of spirals, holy moly. The mods have been incredibly busy with this lady. She's over 500 posts now. She's still trying. She doesn't believe. She thinks that I'm all these alt accounts. I've never had an alt account in my life. I've got Matthew Spear. which is on Facebook. And then I've got Avstros, which is on Twitter. That's it. That's all I got. Everything else is under me. It's not like I'm hiding, lady. You got my name. You want my address? I'll even tell you where I live. That would be fun. Lee, thanks for liking. If you haven't heard, watch last night's show. This person is still in our lives, and Amy and crew have been taking care of her. It's interesting, and it's not getting any better. Now it's just like foul-mouthed, every other word, F this, F that, challenging me to fights. Listen, lady, I don't know how bad you think you are, but yeah, I don't think that's going to work out. So crazy people. Mel, welcome to the stream. Thanks, everybody. Appreciate you liking it. We've got a good show tonight. We got a lot going on. Sign of the Time shirt is up for guys. Little sexist. I know. I didn't have enough time to get the women up, but I know there are women and men who want the shirt. James, no, you have no idea. 500 posts. And I can see she's posting because the first time it was weird. I was getting little blue, ones or two for comments, and I click on it, and then it would just say, you have to like follow or like somebody in order to see it or something like that. And then today, like just every one of my posts, I just see, this person is someone you've muted, and it's just like, bam, 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 like 10 or 20 of them on every post. And I'm just like, holy crap. So I go into the mod chat because this lady thinks, because she looks at Twitter and goes, well, his interactions are low. Well, of course it's low on Twitter. Nobody's recovered. The conservatives still are struggling to figure out the algorithm. And even on YouTube, but of course, they don't pretend to understand that, liberals they post a picture of a transgender cat and they get 50 million likes. So it's hard nowadays to grow, but it doesn't matter. Facebook's doing fine. But she hasn't come over here yet, which I hope she does. But I invited her to the show and I said, hey, just come on over, right? Have a backbone. And of course, her comment, and the mods are just like reciting everything. Dude, she thinks I'm you. She thinks I'm you. And I'm listening to this, and I guess she's hellbent. And Amy and Lee and Kevin and everybody else could tell us whether this is true or not. But according to them, that she is assuming that I don't have her muted, and that I am Kevin and Amy and Sarah and. Oh God, she's just getting hammered by everybody. And it's just insane, folks. It's absolutely insane. But here, listen, we're here to encourage the trolls. I believe in a wonderful conversation. And if she came on, I would be absolutely a gentleman until she started going crazy, which I would think it would take 30 seconds. This lady physically wants to hurt me, and I love it. I hope she finds the courage. She's in Virginia. It's not hard to find me. I'm in Round Hill. We're only 550 people. You're going to have to get through a couple of people to get to me, but you can come on by anytime you want. I'm open. It's not like it's not on my front page on Facebook because I have to declare. It's right there. And I've had hundreds of threats and nobody ever follows through. Let's hope she does. Let's hope she has the courage. I'd like to see that. That'd be fun. Be fun. Anyway, let's have a good conversation. Let's have some fun. This is going to be good. Oh, no, I'm going to talk about her all the time because the more I talk about her, the more incensed she gets. And I'm talking like, this is like gaslighting 101. This is the easiest thing in the world. And all you got to do is just say something about her. It doesn't matter what it is. And if it's true and it's 100% accurate, she just overlooks it and doesn't address it. But if it, in her opinion, isn't true, oh, Lord, the whole world's going to burn. So I leave these little nuggets of bait just to frustrate her, just to be like, here you go. And I'm not going to tell you what they are because I don't want her to know which ones are her triggers, but she's like the easiest person to trigger. Like simple. She's watching this right now. She's freaking fuming. She's punching shit. She just kicked her cat. I'm sure she's going to beat her husband again. Hilarious. Anyway, I'm glad you're here. We're talking about our troll over on Twitter. Maybe Kevin or Amy can call in and tell us all about her. Tonight, what are we talking about? If Maud's see her, let her in. I'd love to have her come on the show. If you want to come on the show, all you got to do, this is over on Twitter too. It's right here. Just click that link. Call my show. and you can come on and come see us. Pretty simple. Would love to have you. Stop on by. Lieutenant Governor. Hey, I use heart button during the show. I was just notified I'm spamming your page. When did that stuff start? Carrie, let me explain that real quick. If you spam it too much, you're going to get hit because they don't want you spamming things. So you gotta slow your way into it. You got to do it like 5 or 6 hearts. I'm not that heart-filled. So just a little bit here and there. That's all you got to do. And if you really want to impact the show, you have to go out front and like the show. That's what does it. Like it and share it from out front. We're already at 40 likes. I want to get as many people as we have in here. We should have that many likes. So if you haven't had a chance, go do that. It helps the show. It gets it out there. All right. This is what we're talking about tonight. If you didn't see the front. Lieutenant Governor drops the mic on male senator in Virginia, my wonderful home state. Biden struggles while defending his age. Oh, man, you got to watch this. This is hilarious. And did Katie Porter really say this? I'm going to defend a Democrat. Just a little bit. I'm going to hit her too, but I'm going to defend what people are saying she said versus what she really said. I hope everyone's doing well. Do me a favor. Amber says, friends meet Logan Wilmot. Please be nice to him. Okay, we will. Steven, thanks for sharing. Appreciate it. Veterans Before Illegals over at the Dumb Store. Available for you if you are interested in getting it. All right, let's get to this. Richard, thank you. First thing we are doing is Lieutenant Governor drops the mic on a male senator. So this is interesting. I don't know how many of you have had a chance to follow Governor Glenn Youngkin. Very nice guy. Had a chance to meet him. Good dude. Just down-to-earth type of guy. And he picked a pretty amazing lieutenant governor. And her name is Winsome Sears. You've heard me talk about her on the show. Very, very straightforward, direct, tough woman. No joke. Probably has a good chance of being the next governor of Virginia. First female lieutenant governor, and I believe first African-American lieutenant governor. Female. Obviously, and it's pretty amazing. So there's some things you didn't know. First of all, the left have been terrible to this woman, and she doesn't give a crap. She doesn't care. Angel, thank you for becoming a Dumb Nation subscriber. Real simple. You can do that right in the front page on Facebook, and we have a little group called the Dumb Nation group. It's $1.99, gets you 15% off all your clothes. You buy one shirt, and it pays for itself for like 6 months. All right. And Winsome, the old, you win some, you lose some. But this lady keeps winning because she doesn't allow people to interrupt who she is. Now, she took all the hazing. Now, remember, she's a black woman. So all she had to say was, I'm black and I'm female, and the left hate me. She didn't do it. They hid her gavel on the first day that she was there. They've taken her name tag off of her door. They just do petulant little shit because that's all they got. It's like my troll. They can't do anything else. They don't have the intellectual capacity to go ahead and have a conversation. They don't have the courage to go ahead and confront people that they don't like. And the thing that's the most prevalent to this whole conversation is they don't have the ability to admit that A, they could be wrong, and B, it might not be the person across from them who's the problem. It might be them. But Winsome doesn't have this problem. She took the hits, she took the lumps, and she has gone on kicking. Now, the left are enraged. Now get this, that a woman called a man sir. What? A woman called a man sir, and there's a problem? What's the problem? By the way, Still Point had a great concert in Georgia. I'm cutting the video. We're going to put it up. They did the Don't Unfriend Me song. Thanks for the call out, guys. Appreciate you. You guys rock. They're amazing. Such a great... You guys did not play Devil. We're going to have a talk. Listen, you three. You didn't play Devil. I'm sitting there waiting for it. I'm like, they're going to play Devil for me. I guarantee they're going to play Devil for... You played everything else I love. You didn't play Devil. But anyway, let's go ahead and watch this and listen to what she had to say. It's actually quite funny. I don't know about funny. I think it's a matter of just like right back at you. Here is it. You guys do this to me. I'm going to do it to you. Here it is. Now, the woman is
how many votes will be
is Winsome. And the person who wants to be called Danica Roem is a senator and obviously is a man who wants to be identified as a woman, which is fine. Who cares? Great. Call her Danica. But like me, I think Lieutenant Governor Winsome and I feel the same way, is I'm not going to call you sir. And I'm certainly not going to, I'm not going to call you ma'am, because you're not a ma'am. You're a sir. You're a sir who wants to be called Danica. And that's totally cool. Great. Good for you. But the moment yet you expect me to take part in what your delusion is telling you to do, it doesn't mean that I have to. So Governor Winsome feels the same way. And obviously this is a person who, and to defend Danica is demonstrating respect. Honestly, is not being rude, is not being dismissive, looks a little like Morticia from the Addams Family, but otherwise, good to go. Maybe share without all the work. Totally respectful. But was that always the case? And Lieutenant Governor Winsome does not strike me as a person who isn't fair. So there's some history here. Maybe Senator Danica Roem took the gavel. Maybe she said some things that weren't polite, whatever it is, but we're going to hear about it. Here it is.
The senator may state it. Madam President, how many votes would it take to pass this bill with the emergency clause?
Got to turn that up. Sorry.
The senator may state it. Madam President, how many votes would it take to pass this bill with the emergency clause?
That would be 4/5, Senator.
And what would be the exact number for that, Madam President?
Yes, sir, that would be 32. The question is, shall the bill pass? Those in favor of that motion will record their votes aye. Those opposed, no. Are the senators ready to vote?
So now you have a situation where Senator Noem, who's upset, decides to walk out. So once again, putting their personal feelings over their constituents, which is typical for most politicians. Let's put our personal feelings over what we are here to do and what we were elected to do. And let's go ahead and have tribal pissing wars with the lieutenant governor versus just doing our job and you can talk about it later. Now, if somebody said lieutenant governor and called somebody, let's just say, who was a man, who was dressed like a man and called them ma'am, what would happen? Well, what you would see is, hey, you know what? I'm a guy. What are you doing? Call me ma'am. You know what? It's a mistake. I've done it. I've called sirs ma'am in sales before. You get tired. You have the same conversation all day. We don't know what her intent was. So we need to allow her to explain it, which she does. And the lieutenant governor explains herself. So let's go ahead and finish this up. Then we can dissect it.
I am not here to upset anyone. I am here to do the job that the people of Virginia have called me to do, and that is to treat everyone with respect and dignity. I myself have at times not been afforded that same respect and dignity. But in this body, and as long as I am president of the Senate, and by the grace of God, I will be treated with respect and dignity, and I will treat everyone else with respect and dignity.
Pretty clear cut and dry for me. There's questions you have to ask. Did Senator Noem tell the lieutenant governor, who isn't always in session? Let's be completely honest. It's just like Vice President Kamala Harris isn't always in session. Now, the lieutenant governor has a job to do very similar to the vice president. In fact, the makeup and the hierarchy and the echelon of command at the federal level and state level are very similar. There's a Secretary of State. There's a Secretary of Treasury. All of these things have their place in the state level and federal level. And the lieutenant governor, most assuredly, is the vice president of the state. And does not always have to be there. Terry, thanks for liking the stream. So when we're talking about this, a real simple thing is, has Senator Noem said, I want to be addressed as sir, or ma'am, or they, je, jem, jur, rainbow spotted unicorn. And if you haven't, well, then you can't light up Lieutenant Governor. And another thing you can't do is you can't force the Lieutenant Governor to do something that she doesn't want to do. Her only responsibility is to call you senator or congressperson. That's it. Those are your formal titles. She doesn't have to use your first name. She can call you congressman from District 3, congressman District 7. The whole personality thing of getting downright personal and using first names and crap, that doesn't happen. That doesn't even happen on the federal level. And if you've ever been to one of these pieces of theater, there is a very pomp and circumstance back from the days of powdered wigs with the English for Lord and country, love, that still is in prominence today. No matter how formal and stupid and mundane it may be, you're not required to call someone anything other than their title. Now, am I making excuses? Could it possibly be that Lieutenant Governor Winsome is a homophobe or transphobe? Sure, it's possible. I seriously doubt as a black lady, which are two of the largest demographics for sexism, racism, and just about every other ism, a defense mechanism that there are. They are protected classes. She's both. And we don't even know. I don't know if she's married. I'm assuming she is, but she may not be. We don't know because it's none of our business. Jennifer, thanks for following. So when I hear this, I don't consider this to be transphobic. I consider this to be reality. This is the truth. It's not a woman. It's not a woman. I'm sorry. It's a guy. And whether that's wrong, then impeach her. Otherwise, you have a responsibility to explain to the Lieutenant Governor and the body how you want to be addressed. Now, if Senator Noem has done that, then I can completely understand. Isn't it Noem? Wasn't it something like that? I don't know. I don't even care. But the Lieutenant Governor stood up there and basically we're not going to play this piddle-paddle nonsense. We're not going to play this game. I'm here to respect everybody. Everybody respects me, and that's it. And they obviously haven't. So let me ask you a question. Where are the calls? Frederick, thanks for liking the stream. Where are the calls for people to say that the Democrats are racist and sexist because they hit her gavel or took her name tag off the door, or have talked about her behind her back, or said things and done things that are considered to be sexist or racist? Why aren't the Democrats up in arms and having an investigation? Why isn't it like Tennessee with the two activists who stomped on police cars and went ahead and created what the left would call an insurrection in Tennessee? Because that's what it was. Same thing as J6. They bumped into cops. They screamed, they yelled, they protested, they stormed in areas without permits. I'm not defending J6. I just want them to hold the same people accountable. When they set fires in Washington, D.C., were those people charged with insurrection? When they stormed into the anteroom chambers, when Amy Coney Barrett and Justice Kavanaugh were being confirmed, did they go ahead and get charged with insurrection? Well, no, because nobody's been charged with insurrection. Jamal, thanks for liking the stream. None of them have. Isn't that interesting? Nobody's been charged with insurrection. What about seditious conspiracy? Jamal, thank you for sharing the stream. You're 2 for 3. If you follow or join the dumb nation, you're really going to get a call out. So do we see the conundrum? You can sit here and cry foul, and you can let loose the dogs of war. Dorita, thank you. But that doesn't mean that when it happens on your side that you shouldn't call it out, because that's what happens. Now, do Republicans do this? Yes, I'm going to show you a demonstration tonight where Republicans are lying. Keith, thanks for liking the stream. Alt-right is lying. They're lying their asses off. I'm going to show you how. I'm going to tell you how. But the problem is there's no more integrity in today's world. This is why my troll won't leave, is because she wants to pretend that a direct quote isn't a quote, it's paraphrasing. And I'm not going to relent because I have the English language on my side, Oxford scholars on my side, ChatGPT-4, a paid-for AI services on my side. Help, my freaking 10-year-old and 14-year-old confirmed it, who are smarter than all of us put together. I will not relent. You got caught. You lied. And when you lie, Pat, thanks for liking the stream, you should be held accountable. The same thing is true for our politicians. When you lie, you have to be held accountable because that's the society that we live on. That's what a republic is. We are a nation of laws. And the individual rights are paramount over the collective. That's why we're not a democracy. So each individual is responsible not only for receiving their rights and ensuring that nobody tries to take them away, but also to question other people who use their position of power to usurp or to take away those rights. It's pretty simple. This isn't difficult. But this is what cowards do. They snipe from afar. And the thing is that I'm aware enough to know about the algorithms and interactions that you could sit here and call me a Nazi for the rest of your life 100 times a day. And you know what? There's really only going to be a small amount of people who are going to see it. It doesn't matter. My ability to outpace you and outpost you because they're following me is going to bury you. And it's like when people all of a sudden have Democrats come on their page and 1,000 of them post. And it's happened on many of my posts that have went to 1 million, 2 million, 10 million, 25 million in the Jason Aldean posts. And these Democrats just come and they come all over, Occupy Democrats. And they're like, we're going to cancel this guy. And I'm like, all you're doing is making me stronger, man. This is like Yoda. This is like Ben Kenobi, man. If you strike me down, you'll make me more powerful. Make me more powerful, you will. Anger leads to hate. Hate leads to suffering. Suffering leads to the dark side. You see, make me more powerful. So when they do this, I love it because I can outpace you. You can't outpace me. I see everything you post. I have tools on Facebook that you wouldn't even believe. I can dig up posts on other people's pages that you've made. It's incredible. But still you poke the bear. So here's what it comes down to. Accountability is important. I've been wrong before. And there's no problem with you questioning and calling me out. But when you're wrong, I expect you to do the same thing. That is all that the Lieutenant Governor is saying. We expect you to tell the truth and for you not to allow your personal emotion to expect us to lie or tell something that's not true. Roger Hartzog, like the stream. Thank you, Roger. Mike, what are you talking about? What? See, don't distract from the show. What elevator music are you talking about? James said, we had a group of pro-Palestine protesters take over our state house here in Maine. The Democrats applauded them. Of course they did. We're going to talk about that tonight. We did a really good post on that today and a good news article. Sandra, thanks for liking the stream. Let's get to it. It's amazing how Facebook throttles whenever there's a topic that they don't like. I always find it funny. Oh, you know what? I know what we can do. Here we go. See this? Here, let me show you. Just for my stalker who says I haven't muted her. Here it is. Muted. I don't open them. Nope. I just see that they're muted. And then I laugh at you and I make funny posts and I get you to do it again. And all that does is help my algorithm. Thank you for buying into it. Here's what it comes down to. It's pretty simple. It's pretty easy. There is now a point in this relationship that it's become so toxic between Republicans and Democrats that Republicans are done playing your game. They're going to stop pretending that abortion isn't murder, okay? You're going to do that. They're going to stop pretending that it's guns' fault for crazy people, when honestly, Ronald Reagan and Bill Clinton own it more than anyone else for closing the mental hospitals in the United States. We're going to stop pretending that it doesn't matter whether it's Ukraine or Israel or any other country, that these forever wars are okay and running them through proxy isn't any better. You may not be losing American lives, but you're taxing people to oblivion. You are spending money this country doesn't have. I think Republicans are just done. They're done pretending that you're a rainbow-spotted unicorn. You're not. You're not a woman. You're a guy. And you're not a guy. You're a woman. And you know what? And if you don't believe that this is hypocrisy, let me tell you why. How many truly trans men do you see trying to enter male sports? That's it. End of the conversation. It's over. We're done. How many trans men are registering for the draft? I bet you could look and you're not going to find one case where any trans man has petitioned the draft and selective service in order to be entered as a male in the draft. Because here's the thing. It's actually a law that was proposed by Democrats that transgender men can't enter the draft, but transgender women can. Isn't that interesting? Isn't that interesting? So it's almost like they're saying that this is all a charade. It's all DuPont plastic. It's all fake. And let's face it, it truly is. It truly is. This Texas border thing, what do you think is going to happen? What does that mean? That's too ambiguous. I think it's going to redistrict the lines. I think it's going to have a flood. I think locusts. I think, what do you mean? Like the border crossings? I think it's going to continue to do what it's always done, Angel, until somebody fixes it. And the only way that you can fix it is make the consequences of crossing the Rio Grande and crossing those borders, or going through the Gulf, or coming up through the islands, or coming up through South America, or coming up through Cuba. The only way that you can make it is that the consequences are so severe that the trip no longer becomes worth it. And the consequences would be, I will walk 3,000 miles, and when I get there, you won't let me in, period. That's it. You can do the song. You can sing it. We can sing it together. And it become the DNC and RNC National Convention theme song. I will walk 3,000 miles, and I would walk 3,000 more. When I get there, I will make sure I slam the fucking door. No, you don't get in. No asylum. You're done. We're turning that off. No asylum. Asylum seekers? Sorry, no. Nope. You have to demonstrate with 100% incontrovertible evidence that you are an asylum seeker. Right now, the asylum seeking is just a loophole for illegals. That's all it is. That's all it is. Because trust me, the people who truly are targets for some of these regimes and some of these tyrannical governments, those people don't even get out of the state. They're rounded up and they're murdered or they're thrown in prison for the rest of eternity. The people fleeing are proactively fleeing. And they are not, and it doesn't mean that that's not okay, or it is okay. Of course it's fine. If you need to leave your country to get to the first country you can that doesn't have extradition, that is a sovereign country, of course you should do that. And that would be Mexico. So stay there. And if you, I don't want to go to Mexico, well, then you're not fleeing oppression, are you? You're not fleeing tyrannical rule. You're just looking for a better quality of life. Well, we have a process for that. It's called legal immigration. And you must go on a list. And you'll get in 10 years, 5 years, 4 years, 20 years. I don't know. You may never get in. Welcome to being the greatest country in the world. It's like going to Disneyland and have to wait in line. I'm sorry. Well, not anymore, but it used to be. It's like having to wait in line for the Apple iPhone. You're not special. Get your ass in line. You'll get it if we have it. And if we don't have it, you don't get it. Welcome to America, the land of disappointment sometimes, and you don't always get what you want. So if you want to solve the Texas border, shut the damn door. If you are captured, you'll be sent home. If you're captured again, you will spend time in an American prison. And then if you're captured for a third time, you'll be convicted as a 3-time loser. And not only will you be extradited to wherever country you came from, we will lean on that government to imprison your ass. Oh, they won't do that, Matt. Yes, they will. If you pull the $300 million annually that we give these countries, they will. Or the $500 million, or the $1.1 billion, or the $1.8 billion, or the $3 billion, or the $330 billion over the last 50 years when it comes to Israel. You want to stop illegal immigration, take away the incentive. You don't get any free health care. You don't get to stay in country. You don't go ahead and get any access. If you are caught illegally in our country, you are shipped back and you're put on a list. And if you come back again, you're going to spend time in prison, period. And trust me, a lot of these people, surprisingly enough, would rather be in an American prison than free in their own country, because they're going to get 3 hots and a cot, a roof over their head, and genuinely it'll be safe. It's time to stop pretending that the way of Europe isn't going to happen here. Europe is going through this exact same thing. France, Belgium, England. The Scandinavian countries are starting to feel it, and they are absolutely stalwarting the illegal immigration crisis coming to their lands, and they're shutting it down. And they're supposed to be the land of hope, peace, love, and socialism, and they're not. They're capitalistic countries with socialist programs. So are we. The difference is that they are protecting their border, which is protected by water. The only thing that we have is a very narrow body of river, aqueducts, and walls that are porous as Swiss cheese. And there is no possible way that 10,000 Border Patrol could go ahead and monitor that area. It takes deterrence. It takes the trip to make it harder and as difficult as possible as you can make it. And the way you need to do that is you need to have a demarcation line in the border. And you need to create a 1-mile soft no man's land where Mexico is on one side and we're on the other. That is the only thing that made West Berlin and East Berlin work, was multiple points of entry that were guarded by both countries. Now, do I want to see the United States and Mexico become West Berlin and East Berlin? Liberals, calm your tits. That's not what I said. What I told you is that they had a very good strategy, and just ask any East German that tried to flee into West Germany how difficult it was to get through. How many people died trying to get through? North Korea and South Korea have the same thing. Now, it's like, oh, well, Matt wants to be like North Korea. Stop it. Because we saw the same thing when it came to India and Pakistan. You saw the same thing when it came to Poland and France. You saw the same thing when it came to England and everybody. Europe understood at one point how to keep foreign countries from coming in and having their refugees and illegals come in, but also spies, and also people who want to do harm for their country. And they learned this thousands of years before we were even in existence. That's where you see motte and copses were built, or moats, if you will, where the parapets and drawbridges happen in front of castles. It's the same theory. So you can sit here and say, Matt wants the Eastern Bloc. Matt wants North Korea and South Korea. That's not what I said. Have you been to the DMZ? I have. Have you been to the 32nd parallel? Same thing with a no-fly zone. If you fly within a mile of this area on the 32nd parallel, you're going to get your ass shot down. You need 2 lines of demarcation in order to have a border. It's not just a wall. And that's going to cost money, and it's going to cost the United States putting money into this, and it's going to cost Mexico putting money into this, because here's the thing, folks. Mexico is becoming one of our largest trade partners. In fact, they're going to surpass other countries at a rapid clip over the next 3 to 5 years. Mexico is on the climb. They are producing revenues and producing stability like South America was before they embraced communism. So if you think Mexico isn't going to be a huge trade partner of ours, they are. They have the money. They can spend it. NAFTA being removed and USMCA in its place has been very beneficial for Mexico because even though the trade isn't equal, it allows for the consumption of more goods because it is closer to fine. This benefits Mexico. It benefits Canada. It benefits North America. So if you think that this isn't going to benefit Mexico in the long term, it is. They can afford to help assist with the border. Folks, do me a favor, get out of the show. Go like the show. We got 100 people on. We got 75 on Rumble. We've got people on YouTube. I know we've got a couple on Twitter. Just hit that like button, man. It just takes a second. It helps the show grow. We want more people in here. We want some liberals to come in here and start arguing with me. Oh, what did somebody say? What did somebody say? Hold on. I do not have a phone number. I do have a phone number for Facebook, but I can't. They're not going to help you. For hacking, the best thing is every single person report. Report that person. That's it. Hold on. Carrie says, I voted in the Michigan primary today to vote early. Would have cost me $10 in gas. Our country board was complaining about the cost. Yeah, I want to see. Who said something about... Oh, someone was like, I see. Someone was saying, no, Matt wants people to come into the U.S. legally. Yeah, well, actually, no. I want a stay of execution on the border. I want to stop all legal immigration for the next 3 years. And I know that's terrible. And I know that's hard. But guess what? We have to. Because here's why. Because it's not illegal immigration from the southern or northern border, even though Canada is now becoming a very serious issue and they're bringing people, especially over from Europe and the Middle East through Canada, you're going to start seeing this. You're going to start seeing people from Mexico not even mess with the southern border and come up through Canada. How do you do that? Well, these people are extremely well funded. You think they walk 3,000 miles and don't have money for food, shelter, water, and drop-offs? Give me a break. There's people who want this to take place. There's foreign governments who want to infiltrate the United States and have us experience the same problems as Europe, the same problems as South Africa. But if you truly want to stop illegal immigration, it has to start with the visas and the overstayed visas. These are an issue. These are people who are in this country who have overstayed their visit to the United States, and these people make up the majority of illegals currently in our country. Now, you might say, well, who cares about that? Well, because you understand there's an ebb and flow to this process, that we're supposed to allow a certain amount of people in who are illegal immigrants, people who are seeking asylum, people who want work relo, people who want government programs to invest in American education to bring them back, to help their country grow and prosper. All of these things have limitations. All of these things have a certain amount of people who can come in, come out, etc. And this process is not just a revolving door, but it's a cyclical door of progress and advancement for both countries. That's what visa programs are supposed to do. They're supposed to fill a need for the United States government, but they're also helps other countries fulfill their needs. So whether it's a student visa or a work visa or whatever it would be, these things are designed to be mutually beneficial. Where it isn't mutually beneficial is that when the other countries don't enforce their own process through the visa program and allow these people to stay as delinquents in our country. And this impacts the flow of people in and out of our country, and it slows down the process. Now, biggest area of concern, southern border. Yeah, it's absolutely. But if we want to go ahead and say that the southern border, those people are illegal because they hop a wall, well, then somebody who's overstaying paperwork has a certain date of exfil and you don't fulfill isn't just as bad. You're being disingenuous. That's where we need to be honest with ourselves, that if we want to stop illegal immigration, you have to consider what it looks like with green cards and visas too. They're both extremely important. Matt is already happening. They are flying them into Montreal and Toronto and them for the South. Of course they are. Yes, James, that is correct. For the first time ever in 2023, there were more illegal immigrants that came into this country than there were newborn babies. It's a fact. Don't tell me immigration isn't a problem. All right. We've had a chance to look at the lieutenant governor. 7:45. I got to hurry. Biden struggles while defending his age. I'm struggling. I'm stuttering tonight. Oh, Dark Brandon. Here is, okay, he was on...
Concern for American voters. How do you...
He was on Seth Meyers. Sorry for the explosive audio. Twitter isn't consistent in their audio. Seth Meyers, I think is what his name is. He was on SNL. He's a douche plow. But he had Joe Biden on. Now, Joe is on the apology tour. We talked about this last night. He's going to go to the border, right? He's trying to push through executive orders, even though I didn't have the money. Well, you certainly had the money to overturn all of them. Why don't you have the money to sign them and put them back into place? Oh, because that would be admitting you're wrong. How come over the last 15 years, you can go back and look at the actual want and will of the American voter and the constituent and ask them about the wall? 31% of it wanted it in 2012. Like 42% of it wanted it in 2016. 67 to 63%, depending on which poll you look at. If you look at an average, it's 63%. 63% of American citizens want a wall now. Isn't that such a funny thing from 4 years ago? Mexico isn't going to pay for the wall. Now, Americans are like, we need a wall. On a long enough timeline, you're going to agree with all of Trump's policies. Trust me. Because listen, I understand where Republicans have a tendency to muck things up. But if you think that it is not a natural progression that we should have 8 years of Democrats in power with a checked Congress and Senate and then switch back. The reason why is because both parties, you need to spend a little bit for infrastructure. You need to make America better. You need to invest in roads and bridges and waterways and stuff so those things maintain. And Republicans really don't focus on that type of stuff. Even though we did try to pass an infrastructure bill and it completely tanked. Democrats focus on healthcare. Democrats focus on college tuition and the prices, blah, blah. And then they say they don't give tax breaks to the rich. But when they give tax breaks, they give tax breaks to everybody too. It's just a different kind of rich. It's their rich. I digress. But I am openly admitting that there are times we need more liberal policy and there's times we need more conservative policy. We are shifting towards that because Joe Biden has given us 3 terms in 3 years. He is Jimmy effing Carter. I did a show on this 3 years ago. I told you this was going to happen. I told you we would live through it, which we did. We're going to be fine. But Joe Biden, I told you, was going to mirror Jimmy Carter. You can go look up that episode anytime you want. But I want you to listen to this. He's on the apology tour, and he comes on Seth's show, Seth Meyers, whatever his name is. And he is, doing the Dark Brandon thing. And then he's talking about a ceasefire against all the Gazans and the genocide that's supposed to be taking there. And then he starts eating ice cream. But watch this. I appreciate the effort, but it completely backfires. And it is so very, very cringe. Watch this video.
Concern for American voters. How do you address that concern going forward as you come up to the 2024 election?
Well, a couple things. Number one, you got to take a look at the other guy. He's about as old as I am, but he can't remember his wife's name.
Yeah.
And,
now that's disingenuous, right? That's not accurate, but that's fine. This is what politics. I'm not even going to defend Trump, and I'm not even going to tell you who he was talking about and who Trump was. Mercedes Slap was there and Melania, and he said Mercedes, and everyone's like, "Oh, it's Melania." He can't remember Melania. Okay, you know what? This is so stupid. Like one gaffe is from the gaffe machine is supposed to completely castrate a presidential run. People make mistakes. These guys are up. Well, at least Trump is 16-hour days. Joe Biden, and this has been openly documented. The guy's day starts at 9 o'clock, and he puts a full lid on at 3 o'clock if he's not traveling. The guy's had more vacation years than any other president in U.S. history. This guy is pushing 427 vacation days in less than 3 years. Give me a break. He's been off for a year and 3 months. Just take a look. Now, I'm not saying Trump didn't play golf. I'm not saying Bush didn't play golf and Obama didn't play grab ass with his cook and Michelle. Oh, whoops. Sorry, that he didn't play Park the Platypus with his chef. I'm sorry. Let me change. That he didn't go golfing as well. They all take time off, and they deserve it. The hours that these guys work, you're going to pop. But to pretend that Joe Biden is the hardest working president in U.S. history, hell, he is not the hardest working janitor. There are people in clerk positions who put in 10 times more hours than this guy. But let's go ahead and listen to this, and let's see if his vitamin and B12 shot is working today.
Number one. Number two, it's about how old your ideas are. Look, I mean, this is a guy who wants to take us back.
Is this like ideas like when he eulogized the Klan members, all four of them? Is this the time when he said that George Wallace and Byrd and Strom Thurmond were all good guys and he was honored to have them a part of the Democrat Party? Not the KKK party, but the Democrat Party. Oh, okay. This guy? Those all policies like busing black people? Okay. Just want to make sure. Like all the things he said about Hindus and people who worked at 7-Eleven. I mean, do you actually want to walk through some of the quotes while we have them fresh in our heads? Sure, let's just go ahead and do it. I mean, why not? We can do that. Here's one.
Better than anybody else. And you don't know my state. My state was a slave state. My state is a border state. My state is the 8th largest black population in the country. My state is anything from a northeast liberal state.
Judge my physical and mental, my physical as well as my mental fitness. And by the way, you know, I sit on the stand and it get hot. I got hairy legs that turn blonde in the sun. And the kids used to come up and reach in the pool and rub my leg down so it was straight, and then watch the hair come back up again. They look
Poor
at
kids
it.
are just as bright and just as talented as white kids.
Jumping on my lap. And I've loved kids jumping on my lap.
Poor kids are just as bright and just as talented as white kids.
We hold these truths to be self-evident. All men and women created by you know the thing. You got more questions, but I tell you, if you have a problem figuring out whether you're for me or Trump, then you ain't black.
Attaboy. That type of old policy, that type of stuff, because there's 1,000 new ones. I can't even load them into the processor. I think I've got like 400 bays of sound. I'm out of room. I don't have any more for this guy. And I know he wants me to put more in.
Come on, man.
No, I can't. I don't have any more, Mr. Biden. You got to stop saying stupid shit. It's every day. Like, I can't even keep up anymore. I tried to cut a clip of dumb crap he said in 2023. I swear to God. Yeah, Donald Trump may have lied 30,000 times. Okay, whatever. Joe Biden, there's at least 30,000 gaffes. I'm not going to kid you. At least. This guy every day says something stupid, and he's going to do it right now. Here it is. Tyler, thanks for liking the stream.
He wants to take us back on Roe v. Wade. He wants to take us back on a whole range of issues that are 50, 60 years. They've been solid American positions.
Roe v. Wade's done, dude. I don't know if anyone told you, but it's already back with the states where it belongs. It was never a right. You slapped it onto the 14th Amendment, just like you slapped everything onto the 14th Amendment. Right to privacy is not the right to murder. I'm sorry. You know what? You can't murder people no matter how secretive you are. I'm sorry. No matter how private you keep it. It's not the way it works. It was an unconstitutional law. The SCOTUS already decided on it. And the only reason why this wasn't struck down earlier is that if you actually look at the overall SCOTUS ownership from judges, you can go back to like 1917, and it's been a New York minute how many times there has been a majority of Republicans on the bench. You guys have monopolized it. Why? Because all the way since 1980 with Ronald Reagan, with the first Hispanic federal court judge that they wanted to put into SCOTUS, you guys blocked him, and it was Biden who did it. You tried to block frickin', God, my favorite in the world, Clarence Thomas. This is what you did. You guys were racist dicks. You're Democrats. That's all you believe in. And don't give me this crap that there was a major party switch. Explain to me this, Batman. If there was supposed to be this major party switch in 64, 65, 67, 68, 69, you don't even know when it happened. You can't even give me a date. Why? Because you've shifted the lie and now say it's generational change. Yeah, that would explain why no southern state voted for a Republican until 1980. It took you 20 years to get a frickin' Republican voted for in the South, you clowns. Oh, well, what about the Dixiecrats? Yeah, we know. We know that the black and African-American population went to Democrats because of all the free shit. We know that you guys started buying their votes. We know this. You guys took over the inner city, and you got people dependent. This was LBJ's plan. LBJ said it. He's quoted as saying, I'm going to get those N-words hooked on government. And once I get those N-words hooked on government, they'll never vote anything but Democrat for the rest of their life. Guess what? Great society. It worked. It's not like you guys haven't openly said this shit. You Democrats are such jokes. You can't even come out and have a conversation about it because you know I'll fucking eat your lunch. Because it's all fact. And see, that's the problem, is that I get to be an arrogant dick because I'm right. And that's the greatest thing about this show that you can't stand. That's why you won't come on. Oh, Matt, the Republicans, they were Jim Crow and the KKK. No, they weren't. And we weren't the Daughters of the Confederacy. You know those statues you want to take down? That was you pricks. You put Robert E. Lee up there. It was your Confederate flag, not ours. You were treasonous to the U.S. government. It started with you. Now, do I hold liberals responsible for that? No. The only time I care is when you try to put it on us. Of course, the Democrats of today are not responsible for the KKK. You are responsible for the modern slave plantations that are in the inner cities and why 37 out of the top 50 have the highest crime rates in liberal cities. You own that. You own the crack epidemic. You own the zoning laws. You guys gerrymander lines too. You just got hit for it in Maryland last year. Give me a break. You pretend that racism isn't a part of your party. The entire premise of your frickin' party is racist. Democracy, majority rule, mob rule. Ask the Greeks how that worked out. Ask the Romans. Ask the 26 different governments that we've installed democracy with that didn't have a basis of capitalism and overall a form of government and military to support that government so it wasn't overthrown by frickin' thugs and oligarchs. Yeah, 26 times we've done that, including in Russia, and it failed. Give me a break. You guys were against the Underground Railroad. You were against Jim Crow laws. Who put the Japanese in internment camps again? Who did that? Which president was that? Which Republican decided to go ahead and put the Japanese in internment camps? I don't remember. I'm confused. Will you tell me, please? Can you please tell me the 13 states that voted against civil rights? Now, the northern Democratic states, they went in line with civil rights. So that's a lie. A lot of Republicans say it. It wasn't all the Democrats, but the southern states voted against civil rights. How many Republicans voted against it? At least the Republicans, when it came to the LGBTQ community, were honest. At least they were honest. They didn't hide behind it because the Democrats hated the gay community. They hated the lesbian community. They hated the queer community, the transgender community, just as much as they say Republicans did. Republicans always said one thing: don't hate the sinner, hate the sin. Democrats just hated them because they didn't want LGBTQ screwing up their constituency and having more children, specifically when it came to the masses in the poorer communities. That was their voting base. That's why you didn't see it until 2012 with Barack Obama and the Democrats coming out and supporting the LGBTQ community, including Hillary Clinton and the rest of them, because they realized their strategy was that most people who were young, 18 to 32, wound up being Democrats. But then something changed. Something happened at that age of 32. They started getting married. They started having a house. They started having jobs and cars and rent and mortgages and braces and college tuition. And they realized, stop taking all my money. I now make my money. I don't need the government's help. And people stopped, not necessarily became conservative, but left the liberal side and became more moderate. This is the blue-collar Democrat. This is the etymology of that. And these are the people who put Reagan in office. And this has been an epidemic. But now Democrats are starting to lose the black vote. Now, they're not losing all of it. There's no way that Donald Trump is going to steal the black vote. But there is a larger percentage of black constituents than there ever have been in the United States. Although the population hasn't increased from an overall percentage of demographics in the mix, because white people have increased and black people have increased at the same rate. The only difference is there's been no gain for the black community in the last 20 years from a percentage standpoint. And why is that? Well, abortion has a large play in that. Also, inner city death. It happens when you kill the young males of inner cities that they're not going to produce because they're dead. So, of course, they want to allow illegal immigration. But the funny thing is we can go back to 1980 and look at Reagan, and who stole the Latino vote. And Republicans wanted the open borders. And they didn't scoff at this, and they deported less. And they went ahead. Sorry, itchy trigger finger. They went ahead and allowed more immigrants into this country because they voted Republican. Once that changed in the 90s and going into 2000s, there was a shift. Bill Clinton took a big portion of the Latino population. The Bushes from Texas were hard on immigration because that's where they were from, to protect their oil fields and the jobs along the border, and their constituents wanted them to protect the border. And it shifted. So Republicans went ahead and started talking about border strength and border policy and nationalist viewpoints. And the Democrats were like, well, we got this voting base. We're losing white people. We're losing the uneducated Midwest. Things are shifting. The unions are no longer important as much as they were, whether that be the coal miners, whether that be the auto workers or the steel workers. We're losing that demographic. We have to replace that voting base. What do? Hispanics. And that's the thing about the Democratic Party. It may have more people in it, but that's because they have the larger states, the larger cities. And that's why we don't do the popular vote. And whenever they lose a voting demographic or start dropping, like they're losing the black vote, the Latino vote, and they're seeing these votes, and also the young people, even though they're going to vote supposedly for Biden, you're seeing a larger flux of young conservatives than we've seen in quite a long time. And predominantly, it's because a lot of people aren't going to these woke campuses anymore. They're going into trade schools, or they're taking over the family business. Is now you're seeing the call for what? To open up Puerto Rico and Washington, D.C., so they have more delegates, so they have more voting power and prowess in the electorate. To go ahead and stack the courts so they can change the rules of voting, so they can go ahead and make sure that voter ID is stricken forever. That the census will never go ahead and ask if somebody's illegal or not and stricken them from being able to vote, because that would hurt Democrats. So what else do you hear? Let's go ahead and let felons vote. And once they're out of prison, let's go ahead and let them vote even in prison if they're on good behavior. And not just that, let's lower the voting age to 16. It's not just let them lop off their penises and decide to change their gender. Let's let them vote now at 16 too, when they can hardly drive a vehicle. When they can't smoke a pack of cigarettes. When they can't have a beer. When they can't join the military, and they can't work without an exception. Let's go ahead and let them vote. Yeah, that's smart. Because there's nothing that says democracy than allow children to rebel not only against their parents, but against the U.S. government too. That sounds fantastic. Let's do that. Mom and dad need to give me more ice cream. They don't let me spend enough time on my phone. Vote liberal. Come on, folks. You have such a responsibility to learn this stuff. And these Democrats that are saying these things, you must challenge them. You must call them out on their lies. The Republican Party is not fascist. That is a complete, and either are Democrats. Democrats aren't fascists, because it's antithetical to what the political parties mean and what they represent. They are on the opposite sides of fascism and totalitarianism if they're truly who they are. What they're describing is an element of the Republican Party that are not Republicans, and we don't recognize them. We don't claim them because they're scum-sucking douche plows. And the left should be saying the same thing about Antifa and BLM and the Black Panthers. And the black militant groups, as we should be saying the same thing about these patriot groups that show up. Instead of calling them feds, how about you just do this? I don't care who they are. Screw them. If I see Nazis or Klan members in video walking down streets, you know what I don't do? I don't sit there and go, yeah, they're feds. You know what I say? Screw them. I don't care who they are. Go find a tree and get a rope. Because they're not Republican, they're not Democrats, and they certainly aren't Americans. They are the enemy. And I don't care who they are. And you should feel the same way. But instead, we make excuses. And we sound like a bunch of idiots. Those are feds. You know, I think the invention that Elon Musk should create is you're not allowed to open your mouth unless it's a fact. You can't have an opinion unless you have checked the boxes for researching and really truly understanding a topic, because it surprises me. I focus on pretty much the same thing on this show: politics, geopolitics, military intelligence, constitutional law. Those are the three things I truly focus on. You don't hear me coming out here and talking about quantum physics. You don't hear me talking about chaos theory. Now, I might explore the topic to learn about it. If I have a geophysicist on here, or I have an astrophysicist on here, I might ask them questions, or I have a mathematician, or I have somebody from crypto who worked up in 3-letter agencies that I didn't work in. I might ask questions. I might just have a conversation about it, but I'm not sitting here trying to espouse to you that I'm an expert in it. But when it comes to geopolitics, yeah, I am. And when it comes to constitutional law, yeah, me too. And when it comes to politics and elections, and be able to explain to you how the processes work on every single level of government and why, it's my specialty. I'm pretty damn good at it. And if you want to go ahead and talk to me about some other things, there's some things I'm really good at too. But what I'm not going to do is sit here and pretend and talk about it and die on that hill when I'm not an expert on the topic. This is the problem. We have too many experts. I mean, it amazes me that something happens like Palestine, East Palestine, Ohio, and everyone all of a sudden is a freaking biochemist and a chemical engineer, and they understand the effects of vinyl chloride on the environment and what happens when it reaches a certain degree. And I'm just sitting here going, when did you go ahead and get that degree? Because yesterday you were all about freaking Chinese spy balloons. And before that, you were all about space lasers in Maui, and you understood that. And you were just like blowing me away at your degree being an astrophysicist. And then you were a world-class meteorologist when you told me about Hurricane Harvey and how it was all a fake CGI ploy and the water wasn't there, even though I was in it. It always amazes me how somebody gets their degree really, really fast when something happens. Because I write articles on this stuff every day, and you know what most of my articles are? They're questions. I stick to the things I do know, and I leave speculation to what the questions derive and create inside you when you read it. And that is a conversation that you should have with yourself and explore and understand and learn about. My job isn't to prescribe people with what they should think. It's to help them think. It's to assist them in the process. That's why my articles usually have a little bit of left, a little bit of right, and a whole bunch of middle involved. And what's funny is all the people who read my stuff, Democrat and Republican alike, I don't get people who attack me on there. And I've written about stuff. I've written about Nikki Haley. Republicans aren't attacking me on it. Today, I wrote about the Aaron Bushnell, who lit himself on fire and defended veterans and said this is a mental health issue that we need to focus on and get away from whether this is genocide in Israel or if the military is weak because of what this guy did. Let's focus on the real problem that we're losing 22 veterans a day. I didn't get attacked once. Because when you make a rational argument and you don't make these grandiose, lofty positions that are laced in motion, you have the truth on your side. Joe Biden stutters because he can't remember his lies. Nobody will say that. It's dementia. He's old. No, he lies so much he can't remember them. At least Donald Trump just keeps lying about the same shit. Now here comes people. Donald Trump never lies. He's never lied ever. Give me a break. The guy's a billionaire. I promise you he's lied quite a few times. You don't get to be a billionaire without being somewhat of having some business ethic issues. And if you go through his history, there's been some choice things he's done. It doesn't matter. The point is this, is that Joe Biden doesn't remember that he's lying. And he can't remember what he's supposed to say. Because when you lie as much as he lies, and you make up shit as much as he makes up shit, it's very hard to keep track of. And let's face it, he wasn't the sharpest tool in the shed to begin with. That's the truth. Here it is.
I think it's about the future. And every single thing we've done, I think we've got some good things done. Everything, and they told us we couldn't get them done because things were so divided. And but I think everything we've gotten done, he's just friendly stated he wants to do away with if he gets elected. And I really think his views on where to take America are older than, anyway, I don't want to get going.
You talked about bipartisanship and that you could actually work across the aisle when you ran in 2020.
Wow. Nothing like insulting somebody else because they can't remember their wife's name, but you can't remember the pre-scripted lines during a recorded event where it was edited and you were told what was going to be said and you were told to put your glasses on and you were told to say exactly these things and these softballs would be coming at you and you still couldn't remember. It makes me really excited for the future. How about everybody else? This guy can't even remember in a scripted process with everyone on his side, from the cameraman to the boom operator to the writers to the audience, all are sitting there going, when he puts on his glasses, applaud. When he says Dark Brandon, laugh. And in that complete staged event, he still failed. This is the guy you want to be a president? I'll tell you what, Donald Trump has a lot of flaws. Like, I need some things answered about Trump. I want him on the debate stage. They got to hit him on the vaccine. They got to hit him on lockdowns. They got to hit him on some of the frivolous spending. Will he allow an omnibus bill ever to be pushed through again? He said he wasn't going to do it in 2016 when it was pushed through in March, but then he went ahead and did it again. And he did it again. And he did it again. And he didn't lock it down like he said he was. He didn't push the Republicans to do so. And I understand that's a two-tango dance, but it doesn't matter. You're the president of the United States. You made a promise. And here's the thing. Is Donald Trump fulfilled most of his promises? And if you want to walk through them, I'll be happy to walk through what he did. So as far as presidents go, people were so shocked by what he did. He told you what he was going to do, and he actually did it. Oh, he didn't pay for the border. Well, Mexico didn't pay for that wall. Yeah, go ahead and look at USMCA and tell me that Mexico hasn't went ahead and upped over and well above and beyond whatever the wall would have cost by billions, hundreds of billions of dollars. Give me a break. How is it unconstitutional to ask if a person is a citizen in the census? Democrats. They petitioned the U.S. Census. And they petitioned it. And they said that ultimately that ICE and other groups were going to go ahead and use the census to start deporting illegal immigrants on Trump. And of course, the federal courts agreed. So that's how it's unconstitutional. Let me ask you a question. Can the government walk in and ask you what religion you are? Can the government walk in and ask you what your nationality is? There is a very big difference between having to fill out a form to get something and disclose information versus having someone come to your house and ask you a question. JD says, where did you find this story? It needs to get out. See what? What are we talking about, JD? So when the government can't just walk up in your door and say, are you gay? So self-incrimination is a very serious thing. And if they ask you if you are an illegal, you're self-incriminating. It's against your constitutional rights. It's your right to privacy. There is a process to this. And the Fourth and Fifth Amendment ultimately protect illegal immigrants because they are on U.S. soil. And anyone who is on U.S. soil has the right to life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. And those follow with the Bill of Rights. And thank God our country does it, to be honest with you. because I wouldn't want to live anywhere else. But the people taking advantage of it, the people who are allowing this to happen, those are the people who need to be held accountable. I don't necessarily blame illegal immigrants. I certainly understand their need to want to have a better life. And I get that and I understand it, but there's a process, damn it. And you jumping a wall and breaking the law is not a very good start for me to trust you. That's right. Well, the reason why he didn't have any backing from conservatives, and that's a really good point, he didn't, is because it's unconstitutional. It doesn't mean I have to agree with it, but if we're going to stand by the right to privacy when it comes to your religion or your sex, or if you decide to eat green Jell-O naked, standing upside down while wearing a pink tutu in your own home, we have to respect that. That self-incrimination is you have an absolute constitutional right not to self-incriminate. So unless they have a warrant or unless they're going to arrest you on with probable cause, they can't ask that question. And if they are to ask that question, they have to get it declared and have it go through the Census Bureau. Just like asking your name or your address or your age, all had to get approved. It had to be voted on. So you can't just make that rule. And I disagree with Donald Trump on that. I'm sorry. I'm a constitutionalist. So are you. If you're smart. JD says, where did you find this story? It needs to get out. Matt, you see this. JD, I don't know what we're talking about, Bubba. Let me see if I can. Where did. Yeah, nobody else has said that. So I don't know. I'm going to look up story in chat. No, there's nothing. JD, you're going to have to be more specific, Bubba. All right, folks, we need to take a quick break. We're going on our third and final segment, and I need to show you a little commercial. Do me a favor. If you have not had a chance, the mods have been great. They've been sending out a link. By the way, we're at 97 likes. Will you please get this above 100 again? And it seems that every time we get it above 100, we start getting 112, 130, 150 people in here. You liking this makes an impact. And it's not spamming the like button inside. It's going outside and liking it. If you haven't done that yet, please do it. Second thing, link tap go /The Dumb Show. Mods are going to put the link up right now. If you click that, you can donate to the show. You've been seeing up here in the corner where it says people have followed, people have joined Dumb Nation. You have the ability to donate to the show. We make money off commercials. I sell some shirts and hats, but I don't get paid by the RNC. I don't get paid by the DNC. I don't get paid by any political action committee. I am self-funded. Everything you see here, all these cameras, all these lights, they're all out of our pocket. And we do it to bring you a show. Whether you love it or not, that really is immaterial. If you want to see it continue, it helps to donate. Now, if you don't have the money and you are tight, do not give us money. We don't want it. I don't want $1 from you. But if you're sitting around and you got something burning a hole in your pocket and you're like, listen, I pay $12 a month for Netflix, or I go ahead and I buy 10 lattes a month, maybe, just maybe, you can decide and say, I want to go ahead and give Matt a latte, or I'm going to give Matt a Netflix subscription and cost. That helps us stay alive. You can do that by going to linktapgo /The Dumb Show. Mods, please link it. And here is a new commercial about the Documents of Freedom, the one you see right over here over my shoulder. It is a cool, custom-made box with the Declaration, the Bill of Rights, and the Constitution. Here's the quick video. I'll be right back. Hey, what's going on, Donut Friendly Nation? Matthew Spear from the Donut Friendly Podcast. It's interesting. I've had these books for, 3 years now, and I've got, 3 JD, I'll tell you what happened
in
in
a
a second.
Declaration, the Bill of Rights, and the Constitution of the United States that I inherited from my mother. Leather-bound, beautiful, and they're older books, 1935, 1937, something to that effect. I'll show them on the show, but people see me reference these nightly on the show. And the interesting thing is I've never really put two and two together. We have a website, and someone asked last night, hey, how the heck do I get those books? Where do I get those books? And it dawned on me that I should provide these. So they are now on sale. They're beautiful books. They're leatherette books. They're hardback, which is nice. They don't have a dust cover or anything. I've used these, like I said, ad nauseum, and they hold up and they stand the test of time. They've got pictures of the framers, founders, inside the books. They make references with different colors to kind of explain things in a little bit of a simpler way or give some context. But these books, word for word, are the Bill of Rights, the Constitution, and the Declaration of Independence. They are absolutely stunning. You get each book individually for $15.99 over at thedumbshow.com. We also have a bundle over there where you can save $5 on all three for $44.99. And last but not least, the pictures you've just been looking at and the video is the Documents of Freedom, custom made by PFC Flags, comes in an amazing, beautiful, decorative box
for $64.99. Stop by thedumbshow.com and take a look. They're available right now. Jason is printing the last ones. I guess he's painted and he's cut, and now he's doing all the engraving. He's ensuring that they're extra strong. Vicky, I'm still with you. We're waiting for the mail claim for insurance. And then also, I believe it might be Deb. I can't remember. Also is waiting on 2 copies of each book. We have that as an insurance claim since the package was lost. Out of 3,000 pieces of clothes, coffee mugs, coffee, books, whatever, hats that we've shipped, I've lost 2 orders, and it is from this. We are no longer dropping it off at the UPS store. We're going right to the post office. That way it gets scanned. That is going to make any issues much faster. I want to apologize. We're working hard. I'm going to have an answer for you by the 29th. If we don't have them replaced with insurance by that time, I'm just going to send you new ones, and we'll go ahead and fight the insurance company for that. All right, let's get to it. The last thing, the white powder. Yes, white powder was sent to John Jr. He did open it. The white powder was benign, so nothing happened in any way. Mel, don't worry about locals, because you're not losing Dumb Nation, because there was no access to Dumb Nation through locals. Locals was something I did. Then when I got donations, they took 50%, bastards. So don't go to locals. If you want to join the Dumb Nation group, you go through Facebook. The link has been pinned here. You click that and you can join the Dumb Nation group. It's got like 70 members right now. You get 15% off the show and all that type of stuff. Do me a favor and do it through there. Locals, don't worry. If you want to donate to the show, you go to thedumbshow.com and there's a donate button, or you can go to PayPal through the link tapgo/dumbshow link, which I'll put up one more time. I want to get to the last part of this. Olivia is not feeling too good tonight, so I'm going to go and take care of her. The last topic, Katie Porter. Did she suffer from a deep fake? By the way, Don Jr. is fine. So did she suffer? Now, she's a Democrat. I don't like this lady at all. I saw a video of her today. Not a big fan. And the moment that I'm going to defend her, I'm also going to tear her up a little bit too, because this is what liberals do. And they turn words around and they change it and they go ahead and say things that aren't true. So I want to show you
according to U.S. immigration.
I want to show you the thing that I took umbrage with.
According to
first.
U.S. immigration.
Sorry. I want to show you the thing that I took umbrage with first. Then I'm going to show you the edited clip that the people on alt-right did. This bothers me. Michigan update, Trump 64.9, Haley 31.2. Once again, she's over that 25% mark, folks. She's averaging now, 27% in these races, 28, 29. That is an incredible number. She's taking almost a third of the vote away from Trump in a primary. It's interesting. Okay. Lee, keep me updated, please. Keep me updated on that, because it's going to narrow. A lot of the bigger districts are going to come in, but when it comes to some of the other areas inside Michigan, I think it'll be an interesting tell of what happens. All right, here is the video. I want you guys to watch this. This is Katie Porter. She's Democrat. Not a big fan. And listen to this. This was about the murder that happened in Georgia to the beautiful young lady who was killed by an documented immigrant, had been arrested multiple times. And here she is making excuses and doing what liberals do, which is we can't have negative press. We can't talk about a transgender shooter. We can't talk about a manifesto from a trans shooter. That would go against the narrative. So we can't go ahead and talk about an illegal immigrant killing people because that goes against the narrative. Let's listen.
And customs enforcement. Out front now, the Democratic Congresswoman Katie Porter. She sits on the Oversight Committee, and in her state of California, the number of illegal border crossings is up 60% in one city versus a year ago. Congressman, so much to talk to you about today, but I wanted to start with this. I mean, we can all agree this is a horrible, horrible thing that happened. It shouldn't have happened, but it did. Former President Donald Trump.
You know, it's a horrible thing is a full sentence. You don't need to give it a butt sandwich, lady. Congratulations. This is what they do. But It's really sad. It's Esther. Thank you for liking the stream. It's really sad. It's really horrible. I can't believe somebody died, but there's no but. Victoria says, do you think the nastiness between Haley and Trump will stop him from picking her as VP? I know politics is nasty, but it seems to be escalating. Nah, Victoria. The thing is Trump's pissed. Trump wants her just to jump out. She's not going to, and she has every right to stay in. I'm sorry. A lot of people are upset, but polling 30, 28, 33%, 40%, 50% in New Hampshire, or 47%. These numbers are not terrible for someone going. Remember this, there's nobody who can stand up against Trump. She's doing okay, man. She's giving him right across the mouth. She's vying for that VP position. So if Donald Trump can read the tea leaves and I know you can't stand her, blah, 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 blah. You don't know why you can't stand her. You just can't stand her. That's fine. Everyone's been saying that for 3 years. I don't care. I don't care how you can't. I couldn't stand Mike Pence. But Mike Pence was a great decision for VP. It delivered the religious belts to Donald Trump, who lost them because of his comments. Remember, you saw the Catholics drop off and stop supporting him. A lot of the Christian televangelists stopped supporting him in 2020 and 2016. These are things that the VP brings. So I don't care that she's annoying. I don't know why we bring personal emotion into this. All I care about is it delivers the presidency to Donald Trump. You should care about the same thing. So do I think that if Donald Trump gets it from his campaign manager, the national polls say that he can win decisively with Nikki Haley's going to be a VP or have a very high cabinet position in his administration. The problem is he's going to have to go sell her on that. And I don't think Nikki Haley is taking this shit personal. I don't think Trump's taking it personal. This is business. And the moment that Nikki Haley concedes is the moment that Donald Trump puts her arms up in the air, gives her a giant hug and a kiss on the cheek and says, that's my UN ambassador. I told you, what a fighter, everybody. Look at her, Nikki Haley. She made me a little nervous. That's what he'll do. And everyone knows that. And then his base will be like, she's a neocon. And then the middle, the libertarians and the undecideds, they will come and flock into her. Those votes will not go to Biden. They will either stay home, which hurts Biden, or they'll go into Trump's column and then he wins. There's no other candidate right now that gives Trump more votes because the MAGA is already there. They're not going anywhere. Even if he picks Haley, they're not leaving. Tucker Carlson said that. That's full of shit. They've all said that. That doesn't mean a thing. Okay, they said the same thing about frickin' Ron DeSantis. Remember, if he picks Ron DeSantis, I'm not going to vote for Donald Trump. But guess what? If DeSantis said yes, they'd vote for him in a heartbeat. Give me a break. MAGA people are not leaving Donald Trump ever. Nikki Haley's not going to change that. But Donald Trump is going to have a hard time getting women. He's going to have a hard time getting college-educated women, and he's going to have a hard time closing the 4% and 3% gap that he lost in 2020. 2016, 2020, he had the same amount of women vote for him as men, roughly, minus 100,000 votes here and there. 3% was his overall woman gap between Biden, and 4% were men. I don't care what the demographic. I don't care what color. I don't care if they're poor. I don't care if they're college-educated. I don't care if they pee standing up, sitting down, or sideways. 7% is what you need to get from Biden. 7%. You close that gap, you win. It was decided by 3 states and 90,000 votes last time. I don't give a shit about the 7 million for the popular vote. Democrats always win popular. All you got to do is get 3 states and 90,000. Nikki Haley delivers that right now just on merit alone. Who else gives him more votes? Tell me. I don't care if you don't like her. There's my Joe Biden impersonation. I don't care if you don't like her. She brings you the election. Dog-faced pony soldiers. All right. Let's listen to this. This is bullshit. You can listen to this.
Called
Thomas,
out.
thanks for
He
liking.
writes on social media, the monster who took her life illegally entered our country in 2022 and then was released again by radical Democrats in New York after injuring a child. I know that you may not choose the same words, but do you share his outrage?
Well, I think when a horrible tragedy like this happens, I think whenever we're dealing with violent crime, there is a sense of outrage, of sadness, and of loss. But I think the important thing...
Unless it's a trans shooter.
Focus on...
Or they're white. Or they're not white, sorry. Or they're liberal. Or they're big donors. Or they're Jeffrey Epstein. Other than that, or they're Vladimir Zelensky. Otherwise... we get upset.
Shouldn't shape our overall immigration.
Yes, Victoria, you are a college-educated woman, and that's you. okay? It doesn't mean all. When I use that demographic, a lot of people go, well, wait a second, and understand that demographic, you can't tell enough about a person when you say college woman and college-educated woman. What's your religion? What's your overall income? Where are you from? Did you go to an Ivy League school? Did you go to a junior college? Did you go to a Republican type school? Did you go to a military academy? That is just the surface. There are so many other things. So when I say college-educated women, I'm just looking at men and women. Men, women, 4%, 3%. You got to get 3% more than Biden on women and 4% more on men. Nikki Haley gives you that. You don't know if Carrie Lake gives you that. You don't know if Ben Carson's going to give you some good numbers because he's college-educated, he's African-American, he's articulate and smart, and elites will love him. Okay? Because they want to look good, right? It's like the Obama-itis. We really don't care about Obama, but he's black, so we got to vote for him because it's going to clear our conscience because we have white guilt. Let's just folks, you get the truth on this show. Dominic Izzo is turning me into a monster. I'm just telling the truth. That's the truth. It's not racist. It's just the freaking truth. White guilt runs rampant with people. And that's what they did with Kamala. They're like, I don't want to vote for white Biden, but there's Kamala. And it's a double white guilt. She's a woman and kind of black. Let's go ahead and get her a check mark. Give me a break. Ben Carson gives you a little bit, but Carrie Lake gives you nothing. Noem gives you nothing. Daniels doesn't really give you anything. Scott, are you kidding me? Oh my Lord. Nobody wants to be preached to. Sorry. He's just too preachy. He's just too Sunday school for me. So, and Stefanik, she's cuckoo. Sorry, nuts. Marjorie Taylor Greene on drugs. Sarah Huckabee Sanders, not loved. She brings the MAGA element, but does she bring the middle? I don't know. She was press secretary. People tend to hate the press secretary. You can take a look at Stephanopoulos. Was an amazing press secretary, but everyone hates him. Take Kayleigh McEnerney. She was loved by the right, but not by the left. Take a look at Claude Jean Pierre Van Damme. Loved by the left, not by the right. Look at little Peppermint Patty. Nobody liked her either. Ari Fleischer. Everybody loved Ari Fleischer. God, Ari Fleischer was so good. So good. One of the best press secretaries we've ever had. God, I love that guy. I would kill to interview Ari Fleischer. He was like Dick Cheney before Dick Cheney went, get off my lawn. Dick Cheney used to be a wicked Secretary of Defense. Super wicked smart. Amazing. But Ari Fleischer, so good. Just like ice cream, so good. Can we watch the rest of this? You guys are getting me off topic.
Policy, which has so many different facets, including economic.
Tulsi Gabbard, don't even start. You guys, you're just messing with me. Now you're trolling me.
About what workers.
Laura Ingraham, she doesn't bring the vote. She didn't bring the middle. She didn't bring educated. The left hate her. That's like Candace Owens. They hate her too. Folks, you've got to bring somebody who's going to bring the middle. You got to get the middle. You don't win the middle, you don't win the race. That's it, period. Plain and simple. End of effing story. The only person who didn't really have to care about that was Ronald Reagan because he won 49 out of 50. And Mondale almost lost Minnesota. Well, let's be honest. Give me a break. It was almost a 50-state sweep. That's not just that nobody likes you. It's that everyone hates you.
Allow in at how to create prosperity in America. So the situation is tragic and it's a loss, and it's important to acknowledge that, but also to recognize how all the other parts of immigration policy fit together.
I'm going to make a squirrel shirt. I'm going to make it. I'm going to do it. I'm just squirrel.
Well, so the number of migrants crossing into your state illegally is up, as I referenced a moment ago. The LA Times says in San Diego, there were nearly 25,000 migrant border arrests in January, which is a 60% increase over the same exact time period just a year ago. Now, President Biden has announced he's going to go to the southern border in Texas this week, and obviously he's not been to the border now in over a year. Do you think he should be going to your state as well?
Well, I'm really heartened that President Biden is going to the border. Of course, we would love to have him.
He's going to the border that has 100 crossings a day. He's not going to the border. Go to Eagle Pass. Okay? Go to Laredo. He went to El Paso. El Paso is literally a demilitarized zone. I worked there for 3 years outside the border. I could throw a rock. That is not a border. That is a war zone. And talk about lines of demarcation. They have got separation between our border and their border. And you have guns all over that place. And we're not talking little pop guns. We're talking about full belt-fed weaponry aimed at that place. That is a demilitarized zone if I've ever seen one. You want to stop the Mexico border? Make the same thing all the way across it. He's going to, where is he going to, Browning or some shit? 100 crossings a day? Give me a break. This guy's not going to the border. He's taking a vacation down to Mexico so he can get some freaking pistachio ice cream. That's what he's doing.
Visit the border here in California. One of the things I've heard over and over again in oversight committee hearings is that our southern border isn't a monolith. The challenges that our border personnel and communities face are different in areas where it's more rural, where there are different cities, depending on geography and depending on where migrants are going. So I think it's really important if President Biden is going to continue to lead on immigration policy and on solving our challenges at the border, which he must do. Right. I think being there and listening to folks on the ground is an incredibly important step to bolstering his credibility and giving him the authority to create consensus.
Would you support if he had an executive action, whether it was challenged?
I got to finish the video. I'll answer the Winsome Sears question in a second.
Or not, but support him taking an executive action to close the border.
Well, I think executive action is really important. It's the only way that we've been able to make any progress at addressing immigration at all. But I think we've seen under Title 42 and some other policies that efforts to simply, quote, close, quote, the border is not really solving the longer term problem, which is that we have not put the resources or the policies at the border. So we have all different kinds of chaos and challenges, from not having enough immigration judges to not investing in technology that can help us screen for fentanyl, which I have voted for, but we need to do more on, to recognizing that we haven't kept our promise to dreamers. All of these things come together to create the kinds of chaotic immigration policies we see.
I want to ask you about a couple of other things. First, the IVF issue going on in the state.
Yeah, I don't want to hear her opinion on IVF. That's a woman that's never going to get pregnant. No offense.
Alabama when the
you got to have sex to get pregnant, folks. Well, I guess IVF would be the one. Yeah, it's not nice. I shouldn't have said that. That was rude. No, that was rude.
Well, Jake, I think
I can give myself feedback. That was rude. I shouldn't have said that. I'm sure there's somebody who finds her lovely. I don't, because I think she's a liar. And I think for you to sit here and distract and say, let's not judge based upon a woman getting murdered, beaten to death, and raped, and let's not go ahead and throw all immigrants into that case. Okay, you know what? That argument is so stupid. It's like the argument where you guys go ahead and say, yeah, but what happens if I have a one-legged Jewish black lesbian who gets pregnant who's 12 years old? Shouldn't she have an abortion? Yeah, yes. Thank you for, like Ben Shapiro says, thank you for making the worst case scenario for me to go ahead and consider. This is not one of those things. Crime and illegal immigration, there is a distinction between the two. And there are numbers to back this up. It doesn't mean that all immigrants, but the problem is that an immigrant is not an illegal. There's no such thing as illegal immigration. It's not immigration if it's illegal, you ass. So they all have they're like, but they haven't committed any crimes. Yes, they have. They broke into our country. That is a definition of a criminal. If they break into your house, they're just looking for some food. They're just like a bear. Let's give them some honey. Give them some marachas and have a fiesta. No, they can't, because you've got walls around your property, you frickin' hypocritical biznatch. They broke the law. Illegal immigrants don't break the law. There's nothing that constitutes and shows that by the numbers, except for every one of them. That's why they're called illegal immigrants. It's illegal for what they did. That's breaking the law, you stupid sons of... Now I want to show you something you need to see. And I thought I downloaded it. Oh, no. Let's see if I can find it. No, I think it's on Twitter. Let's find out. I want to show you another video that's been going around, and this is completely bunk. And this is a shame. Because people shouldn't do this stuff, but they do. Here is this video right here. I want you to watch it.
Is criminal.
And listen, I'm not going to show you the entire video. You're either going to have to trust me or you're not going to trust me. I hope you trust me. First of all, This is in Russian, whatever. I mean, could you make it any more obvious? I don't like this lady. What she just said was complete bullshit. And her entire interview here, I listened to all 5 minutes of it, and it literally is saying LGBTQ people, everything, they aren't pushing this whole narrative that they're grooming and all this isn't true. And I'm like, lady, you don't live in Virginia. You don't see the things I've seen. You don't see the curriculum I've seen. You haven't heard these conversations. So that part of the video, she's completely lying through her teeth. But this, she did not endorse pedophilia. This is a lie. And I'll tell you what happened. There is an abrupt cut in here that is very subtle, but you will see it, where they spliced one portion of the interview and put it on the other to make it sound like Katie Porter was embracing pedophilia. She did not. I watched the whole video. And you know what? I'll just play the whole damn thing because I'm not going to sit here and say, trust me. Thanks a lot, Amy. Fuck, I wanted to get off early. Really appreciate it, Stamcombe.
The allegation of groomer and pedophile, it is alleging that a person is criminal somehow and engaged in criminal acts merely because of their identity, their sexual orientation, their gender identity. So this is clearly prohibited under Twitter's content, yet you found hundreds of these posts on the platform. The allegation of groomer and pedophile, it is alleging that a person.
So she said groomer, and they cut in pedophile said in another spot. Now I'm going to go look it up because Amy's going to make me. Thanks, Amy. Thanks a lot. I found it. It was, see, even the RNC is putting it together, and they're hitting her on the illegal immigration story, which is fine. Oh, I think I got it in my history. Excuse me. Sorry. Bless me. Yeah, I found this on the Daily Caller. And, gotta love the Daily Caller for doing what they should do, which is the right thing. Oh, they blocked it. Son of a motherless. I thought I downloaded this thing. Hold on. Oh, that's why. The program I use once in a while has a issue, and I've learned a trick. .mp4. That should work. Add. Bam. See, folks, there's talent, and then there's me. And humble, too. Here you go.
I wanted to start with Ms. Robinson, if I could. Your organization recently released a report analyzing the 500 most viewed, most influential.
No, Amy, no jokes on the Don't Unfriend Me show. We don't do humor here. That's on cable, and we don't get that here. You want no trust me, bro? You got no trust me, bro. I'm here for you.
Tweets that identified LGBTQ people as so-called groomers.
There it is.
The groomer narrative is an age.
There you go. She never said pedophile. She never apologized for it. Now, this woman is a piece of crap, and I despise this woman, but I'm not going to let people lie about her. She never endorsed pedophilia. And this narrative that all liberals endorse pedophilia, I think it's sick, and I think it's wrong, and I think y'all need to slow down. Because I can show you a list of 300 politicians who've had sexual inappropriate relations with kids. And I can show you a lot of Democrats too. This is not, pedophilia isn't assigned by someone's religion. It's not assigned by their political ideology. It's not assigned by their color or their height or their weight or male or female. It is a demented, sick, absolutely repulsive, pathetic excuse for a human being, and they should be expeditiously removed from society. And you know what I'm saying. Stat. But just like you cannot go ahead and make the lowest common denominator of a party apply to everyone, like J6, thank you very much, and then say everybody, because there are groups of people who support white supremacy, that everybody's a Nazi, just like all liberals aren't communist. We have to stop this vitriolic bullshit. This woman most assuredly is wrong. She is incredibly stupid, and I despise her face because of her policies. But she's not a pedophile, and she's not making excuses for pedophilia. And the most lesbian, gay, transgender, bisexual people that I know absolutely find pedophilia to be abhorrent because most of them have been violated themselves. Let's be honest. That is a commonality that a lot of the homosexual community and gay and lesbian community suffer from. So let's slow down just a bit. So what you're seeing from this, it's lies. She never said pedophilia. She said the LGBTQ community are not groomers. That is a very big difference. And she has that right. I don't agree with her because I think there are a lot of people who try to groom children. And I think there's a lot of Christians who have groomed children. Let's be honest, right? Let's have a conversation. Catholics have done it. We did it to Native Americans. We did it to African Americans, and we're doing it right now with eugenics through the Democratic Party. Folks, can we stop pretending that the entire world hasn't done horrible shit and the Republicans are not pure as driven snow and neither are Democrats? We have done more in the name of democracy and Christianity that has to have us question why and how we did this because it is the inequity of man. It has nothing to do with God. It has nothing to do with America. These are people who lust and slake for power. They lust and slake for money, and they lust and slake for votes. And they are evil, and they need to be expunged from our party. Left, right, middle, or indifferent. This lady is an idiot. She's not a pedophile. There's a difference. There's a huge difference. Because if pedophilia meant idiocy, then everybody would be a pedophile. At least from my perspective. Folks, I hope you enjoyed the show. I hope you had a good time tonight. I know you missed Olivia. She'll be back tomorrow. And Amy will be here tomorrow. We appreciate you 120%. Thanks for watching. Thanks for liking. Thanks for sharing. Thanks for doing all that. It means the world. Go over to Twitter and help us troll our troll. Let's pretend that I have accounts that are set up and talking to her, but it might be Porter. Maybe it's Katie Porter who's the troll. Who knows? I don't really care. Folks, Veterans Before Illegals. It just came into the mail today. I am so excited. This shirt is badass. It's got the military seals across. It's got some stars and stripes, and it's got a little bit of barbed wire at the bottom. Cool shirt. We've got all that over at thedumbshow.com. Please do me a favor. Last thing, I do this at the end of the show, so you don't have to hear it at the beginning of the show. Donations are extremely important. It means the world to us. Please do us a favor. Help us out. Throw a donation our way. Go over to linktapgo/thedumbshow or thedumbshow.com and help us out. And for the first time in a while, because of copyright infringement, I am going to throw this thing back up here and say, the Veteran Crisis Hotline, 988, then press 1. 22 veterans a day commit suicide. It is way too many. Do me a favor. How is Mike? Mike's doing fine. Mike had a death in the family, a very good friend, and I'm leaving him alone. I'm letting him do his own thing. So our guests come when they want to, and we love it when they show up. Mike is fine. He's just dealing with his own stuff right now. 988, then press 1. If you are a veteran, needs help, traumatic brain injury, PTS, anxiety, depression, all very real, and the struggle is real, please do me a favor. Reach out to this number. They will help you. They will take care of you. They know the answers. They have been in that hole, and they will help you get out of it. If you are not a veteran and you are a person who is concerned about a veteran, all you have to do is go ahead and make this phone call, and they will anonymously call the person you are concerned about. That is what it's all about. Thanks, folks, for watching. Thanks for taking a look, and we'll see you tomorrow with a new recorded show and a live show. God bless. See you tomorrow.
Adjusting transmitter output.
This is the Don't Unfriend Me Show with your hosts, Matt, Leroy, Amy, Olivia, and Mike. Geopolitics, military analysis, and election coverage. Coming to you live on the Spreely.tv network and all major social media channels at The Dumb Show. Honest, direct, unfiltered. We can agree, we can disagree. Just don't unfriend me.